They never really explained what significance is, just gave me the redacted files and told me not to ask any questions. In everything I've read, they've called it a metaphysical substance, an existential substance, an ontological substance. Shit that, frankly, has no meaning to me. But the scientists, or whoever wrote these dossiers, all come to the same conclusion. Significance is the root mechanism of our reality. Though, in all of these files, I can't find a use for the physical substance. Anything that begins to explain it, even a little, is redacted. But we can speculate. It's called significance. What if that's literal? Fundamentally, how would you say our reality functions? Do you think it's random? That everything's just particles bouncing around? No deeper logic, no plan, just chance stacked on chance until it looks like something that makes sense? Or maybe you think it's God, not religion necessarily, but design, something intentional, watching, creating. No, I'm thinking something simpler, something deeper. Cause and effect. You hit a switch and a light turns on. You open a door and another closes. You kill a man and the world shifts a little around the hole he leaves behind. But think even deeper. What's behind cause and effect? What gives it permission to act? I think it's significance, or more accurately, will. And no, not God, not some singular all-knowing will. Reality isn't built on one will, it's built on all of them. Every sentient being, every choice, every act of meaning. That collective pressure, that's what reality listens to. It just makes so much sense when you use significance to explain the unexplainable. Think about the modern paradoxes, the questions science hasn't answered yet. Dark matter, synchronicity, entropy, hell, even quantum entanglement. Take the double slit experiment. When photons are fired at a wall through two slits without being observed or measured, their paths interfere with each other, creating an interference pattern, almost like each photon exists in a superposition, traveling through both slits simultaneously. This interference pattern shows up as dark spots on a wall, but when these photons are watched, when they're measured, interference collapses. They begin to behave. They act like regular particles, only going through one of the slits. But what if it's not the act of observation or measuring that changes the result, but will? The will of the scientist conducting the experiment subtly changing what happens. His very being changing the outcome. His act of caring, of giving that specific moment weight. It's the universe reshaping itself based on what has been made significant. And if that's true, if significance can warp outcomes at the quantum level, then think about what that means for everything else. If a particle can fold under the gaze of one man, imagine what it takes to change a person. Subatomic particles can change based on will. Significance, when applied, bends outcomes. If we accept that, why is it so hard to change things that actually matter? Why can't you just glance and stop a war? Why can't you fix someone with a word? Because just like mass resists acceleration, meaning resists change. The more layers something has, history, memory, belief, significance, the harder it is to shift. A person isn't a particle. A country isn't a coin toss. You're not moving one thing. You're pushing against everything that ever made that thing matter. Take a crown, a simple, gilded thing. Melt it down and it's just metal, but put it on the right head, a significant head, and suddenly it means something. Generations of power, conquest, blood, history etched in gold. That crown is no longer aberrant matter, it's an idea, a symbol. Now try to take it off. That's inertia. That's significance as a shield. Every person who ever bowed to that crown is holding it in place. Every law written beneath it, every war started over it, all of that is pushing back against you. The more something matters, the harder it is to move. But if you can move it, if you're significant enough to move it, it'll hit like nothing else can. Significance is equal parts defense and offense. You can even view it through the lens of a debate. Two sides standing on their beliefs. The one who wins isn't always louder. It's the one whose argument matters more. Not emotionally, not even logically, but existentially. the one who brings more weight to bear: history, experience, conviction, the one who steps in a room and bends it around their point. That's how wars start, how movements start, how ideas spread like fire. Significance doesn't just react to power, it is power. And the bigger the target, the more significance you'll need to move it. So maybe the question isn't, why can't I change the world with a glance? Maybe the question is, how much of me am I willing to put behind the glance? Because changing anything that really matters, costs. It's all a trade, or a cost, depending on how you look at it. Significance doesn't grow from uniqueness alone. It grows from consistency, from repetition, from things being the same long enough that reality starts to expect them. When something is copied, it stops being an accident and starts being a pattern. One man wearing a crown is coincidence. 1,000 men bowing to it is law. Every imitation presses the same shape into the world, and the world eventually hardens around it. That's the mechanism. You don't gain significance by inventing yourself from nothing. You gain it by syncing with something that already matters. By matching your will with an existing weight in reality. The closer the match, the less resistance you'll feel, and the more significance can pass through you. Copying isn't theft, it's alignment. And alignment is how meaning propagates. Hell, even the people of the past knew it. Think about the Abrahamic religions. The entire structure of faith in a religious context is built on giving up your significance to something higher, giving up the self because you're trying to copy something greater. To follow Christ is to act as Christ. It's not a metaphor, but rather it shouldn't be. That's exactly what is expected when you're a follower of Christianity. Every prayer, every moral, every sacrifice, it's an attempt to align with his pattern, to give up your own chaotic human significance and replace it, piece by piece, with his. Even in the more Eastern cultures, they had the concept of significance, even if they used different terms. In Hinduism, karma isn't punishment, it's feedback. You're constantly trading parts of your significance to better match the cosmic pattern, to better sync with Vishnu or Shiva, to reduce the noise of your individuality. The closer your will matches with the eternal, the less friction there is between you and freedom. Now, in the 150 states, money is our most modern and oldest god. Here you've never worked for survival. You work to matter, to be seen. What is a brand if not collective worship? When you wear Nike or use Apple or post on whatever site is king this month, you're not being an individual. You're borrowing significance, copying influence. Corporations flood the world with their pattern, their significance, and say, become this. And people do. They trade their significance, hours of life, choices, attention, for a chance to align with something that already matters. Corporations aren't powerful because of law. They're powerful because they sit atop the most significance: culture, data, loyalty. In America, will is monetized, and in doing so, they've turned significance into a measurable asset. But no matter how it's dressed up, the rules haven't changed. Whoever controls the most meaning wins. This is just speculation. I still don't know what significance really is, or if I ever will, but I know it's listening, and I know it reacts. Not to truth, not to proof, but to meaning, to will.